Hey everybody, welcome into the Overwatch core. I am Redmage JR. I'm going to be walking you through a little bit of attack and defense structure here on King's Row. We're going to be playing as Widowmaker here just because she's got a little bit more mobility, so I can show you some of the high and low points here. So a big thing to think about here with King's Row is that it's a very narrow map. There's a lot of angles that you've got to worry about, a lot of high perch positions, and of course there's a lot of choke points and kill boxes. So you've really got to pay attention to where your enemies are setting up, and you have to have at least one or two high mobility heroes in order to really get around the map. A big one is definitely going to be Tracer. This is her and Widowmaker's kind of natural map, as you can tell from the short video of Alive. If you haven't seen that, definitely go watch that. That's amazing. But you definitely need a Tracer here to at least get through the initial section here, because there's just basically a single choke point that your attackers can use. But here from getting out of the cathedral here, you have 4 total exits here. You have the one here in the alleyway that you can get through. You can go through the front door. You can go through the side door over here and come up into this alleyway over here, or of course you can go through the top. Now, big things to worry about here if you are coming out of the top, or if you're going to sit here in a kind of a sniper position trying to take out some of the defenders, is you've got to be watching out for defenders coming in here so they can go in and out of that doorway to kind of break cover. You might find a couple of them over there in that corner, so they can duck behind the statue if they need to, and of course over there in these hallways here and here. So be very mindful of those, that while you're trying to pick these off, you'll have heroes being able to skate by left and right trying to take you out. So be very careful if you're up here sniping. Now, as we get down, again, if you come out into this alleyway, you can come down the roadway here where there's a large health pack in here. You can go in through the theater. This is your only choke point right here at the start. So you've really got to watch out. A good May will be able to kind of block that off for you for a little bit, and a Reinhardt can kind of defend it, as well as a Diva. So you got to watch out for that. The only other exit is this one right here, coming out here. Now this is a total kill box, because a lot of your opponents are going to be stationed here trying to defend that large choke point there. So your only hope is to really come out of here as quickly as you possibly can and get up these stairs and out of the line of fire as quickly as possible. This is where a really good Tracer comes into play, because a Tracer can just, of course, zip right through here, and if she gets into trouble, she can always just rewind back in. And then, of course, you can always use a Widowmaker here. She can jump. She can just hop across to these if she wants to. You can also Lucio through if you're going to be a Lucio trying to go into the front line. But you've got to watch out for this. Now, as soon as you come into here, you can duck down that alleyway. You can duck into this place here. A lot of times you'll see a Bastion set up here. You'll see a turret set up here, because they have a really good attack arc right here onto this defensive point. So once you take this attack point, of course, you'll have everybody kind of pouring through here, coming back in from the spawn area. You'll also have to watch out for that upper area there. Again, Widowmakers do really well, Hanzos do really well up there, and then of course you've got to watch out for them coming down these set of stairs here that lead from their spawn area. So you've got to kind of pay attention to this whole wall right here, because if they can slink by, they can get behind you and wind up here on this part. They can wind up above you there, above you there, above you over there. All kinds of stuff. So you got to really watch out for those. Now, after you take the point, you'll have to, of course, move the payload. Now, the biggest thing with the payload in King's Row is that it doesn't really have a lot of place to it doesn't have a long distance to travel. It's just very it's very narrow. It's very windy, so you've got a lot of places to cover here. If you're going to be playing defense, this is a good defensive point here for you, because you can start picking off people as they come through there. If you're a good Widowmaker, you'll set up a trap there, so you know when they're coming around the corner, you can just start picking people off here, and then you can just slowly retreat down the hallway there. Another good point is to be right up here. This is a great place for a Bastion to set up, because a Bastion can set up here and start taking people out. Again, you want to have some member of your team up here covering you to make sure that there's nobody coming out of that doorway. But if you need to retreat quickly, you can come down the back stairs. You can head up to the back hallway to the other checkpoint, and that's a really good spot to be in. So you just got to be very wary of where things are. Now, always be aware of that there is a couple of levels to this map. So even though you're pretty good on the first and second tier, on the ground level and on the first tier things, that there's sometimes these little 3 tiers right up here where they can really get a good shot off. So again, as a Widowmaker or as a Junkrat, you're going to want to deploy your traps around a lot of these corners just so you know where people are coming from. Now, once you get to the first checkpoint, this is where it basically turns into just a giant shooting gallery on both sides. If you're playing the attackers, you're gonna have to just fight through this. There's no way to get around it. You're gonna have a high mobility character. Again, a Tracer works out really well. A Genji works out really well to get over to this side here to give your teammates a little bit of support, a little bit of cross cover. You can cover this door to keep them suppressed back so they can't. Because again, as a defender, you've got this whole hallway that you can defend in. So you don't have to worry about too much, and you've got a good escape right over to this side where you can continue to suppress, or you can retreat if you need to. So again, just be very, very conscious of that. And then, again, watch out for these upper tiers. Right in through here, you've got that area right there. If you're an attacker, you can come through, but your defenders are probably going to be coming in and out. Now this area is really just good. This is a really good spot for a Pharah, a Widowmaker, maybe a Junkrat. I wouldn't, and I'd maybe put a Hanzo. I wouldn't put your Reapers. I wouldn't put your Tracers or even your 76ers up here. I would definitely keep them down below, because that's going to be an easy picking target, and you need somebody that's going to be able to put down a lot of fire to kind of draw a lot of attention. So you want these people up here to be nothing more than finishing off the people that you're knocking down there. Now, from an attacking standpoint, if you can get the payload around this corner, you're in pretty good shape, because all you really have to do is you put somebody right here to fire through this doorway. They can, again, keep going back and forth to kind of protect themselves a little bit. You can come in through that archway there, and again, you can start shooting from this side. You deploy your traps over here, so because of course the spawning area is right there, so you just got to watch out for that. And then of course you can hit them as they come out the door. You can hit them here if the payload's getting a little bit closer. Maze work out really well at this point, because they can just block off that area there, and that either forces them to walk all the way back around or to just wait. So waiting is usually your best bet, because once you get it down this little slope, it's very hard for you to really keep this thing moving, because they can just start pouring through here, and if it gets into overtime, you could be stuck in overtime hell. So just be very, very careful of that, and always keep moving. Be very careful. There is no floor in a lot of these places, so you could fall to your unformidable death, and that does suck, especially when your team is trying to keep the push. So make sure you keep your back to the wall. You know exactly where all your opponents are coming from. And if you're a defender, just keep everybody off the high points, and just make sure that you're pulling them back as best as possible. And make sure that you keep somebody near that payload, so if you eliminate a large majority of the team or keep them pushed back away from it enough, you can start rolling it back up this hill. So there you go. That's your advice for King's Row. I'm Redmage from Overwatch Core. Thank you very much. Don't forget to hit the subscribe on the channel, and of course follow us on Twitter @Overwatch Core for more Overwatch videos. Thank you very much, and have a great day.